Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've been paying any attention to the news lately, you can probably feel it. The ground beneath our traditional systems, our career paths, and our economic stability, it's shifting, and it's shifting rapidly. We're literally entering an era where the old rules just don't apply anymore, and the urgency to find real purpose and unshakable stability has honestly never been higher. So today, we're unpacking a unique, tangible movement that's being built right now to answer that exact problem. Let's see how some forward thinkers are choosing to adapt. Okay, let's dive into this, because this is the core question keeping so many of us awake at night. Are you ready for the post-AI economy? It's no longer just some sci-fi concept you see in movies, it's happening right in front of us. Just consider this. Studies are now suggesting that AI could displace over 300 million full-time jobs globally in just the next few years. 300 million. That is a staggering pace of change, and it's completely rewriting the value of human labor. But what exactly does that mean for you and me? To really understand the stakes, we have to look at this stark warning from billionaire entrepreneur Mark Cuban. He hit the nail on the head when he said routine, technical, and non-creative jobs are simply going to disappear. And he isn't just talking about assembly line work here. The data shows that AI is set to automate basic coding, deep data analysis, routine reporting, basic finance, legal review, and massive amounts of administrative work. The very jobs that used to guarantee a safe, comfortable middle-class life, those are the ones directly in the crosshairs. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast it presents. Sure, AI can generate reports, write code, and summarize mountains of data in literally seconds. It's incredibly efficient, for sure, but it's also entirely sterile. Contrast that with what AI cannot do. It can't build a community. It can't design regenerative systems that actually heal the earth. It cannot inspire a team, build trust, create culture, or forge genuine human meaning. This massive gap, this complete inability of machines to replicate the human soul, is exactly where our future security lies. And that brings us to what we call the human advantage. If we are going to thrive, not just survive, but thrive in a post-AI world, we have to pivot toward the skills that will define this next era of work and human flourishing. We're talking about deep creativity, authentic collaboration, high cultural intelligence, and regenerative thinking. We need to train ourselves to ask way better questions, to see beyond our immediate bubbles, and to think in terms of decades and ecosystems, rather than just days and transactions. For the people driving this new movement, the hard truth is that relying on the old American dream is arguably the biggest risk you can take right now. They argue we're actively witnessing the collapse of an old system. I mean, think about it. Our education system is largely outdated, training people for those exact routine jobs Cuban warned us are disappearing. Corporate career paths are collapsing into gig work. And that classic 30-year mortgage, for a lot of folks, it's becoming less of a rock-solid foundation and more of a trap, tying people down while the middle class continues to shrink. We desperately need a new blueprint. And this brilliantly illustrates what that human advantage looks like in the real world. Think about Bahia Reboot down in Brazil. We're talking about local, organic, purpose-driven products, things like jackfruit core meat, cold-pressed coconut oil, wild and natural Brazil nuts, and raw cacao nibs. This is a tangible, living ecosystem built on exactly the kind of regenerative thinking and cultural intelligence we were just talking about. It's a complete paradigm shift, moving us from mindless consumption to intentional, earth-aligned production. Initiatives like Bahia Reboot are aiming to create the actual infrastructure for the post-industrial human. They're designed to act as a direct antidote to our very fragile traditional systems. So by stepping away from that 30-year mortgage trap, they're exploring alternative paths to ownership through models like fractional chalets. Instead of modern isolation, they aim to build regenerative villages and global networks. And instead of relying on easily broken supply chains, they offer profound resilience through food forests, independent water systems, and just brilliant ecological design. This Phase 1 villa model at Bahia Reboot is a perfect example of what's possible. It makes you wonder, right? Could this actually be a working model for sustainable development? It certainly proves that stepping into a regenerative lifestyle doesn't mean you have to sacrifice beauty or comfort. No way. It's envisioned as a sanctuary, a place where you can completely disconnect from the anxiety of our hyper-digital world and reconnect with real human meaning, all while being part of a forward-thinking, incredibly resilient community. So the crucial point is how these places are actually built. The architectural pillars here are incredibly specific and deeply mindful. We're looking at regenerative building practices that combine modern materials for a safe, enforced structure while utilizing wood sourced entirely from replanted trees. They even craft walls using a technique known as hummed, or rammed earth. It's a deeply sustainable practice that roots the structures organically right into the landscape. This is ecological design built to last for generations. But here's the best part. You don't have to pack your bags and move to the Brazilian coast tomorrow to start making this shift. The whole goal is translating that massive global ambition into localized action. And that is exactly where the Purposeful Global Living and Investing Group comes in. This is a rapidly growing community of forward-thinking individuals who see where the economy is heading and are coming together. It's a dedicated space for deep conversations, vital education, and learning how to think differently about where we put our time, our money, and our energy. Let's move to and see how this builds in a very real, accessible way. If you want to connect with this movement, the Purposeful Global Living and Investing Group hosts in-person meetups every single Wednesday evening. Ironically enough, this massive global movement gathers locally from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Great Wagon Road Distillery right down in Waxhaw, North Carolina. It's literally the perfect environment to meet like-minded people, share ideas, and discuss global mobility and sustainable living over a great drink. Ultimately, organizations like Bahia, Reboot, and Coastal Horizons Brazil are stepping up as proactive solutions to those harsh economic warnings we started this explainer with. They aren't just reacting to the future, they are actively building it. They offer fascinating real-world case studies in regenerative solutions for the post-AI era. You can actually explore their specific ecosystems and investment opportunities directly at BahiaReboot.com and CoastalHorizonsBrazil.com. And if you want to dive deeper into these concepts, the conversation is already happening. You can head over to meetup.com/investingabroadwithpurpose, fractional ownership, to become a member today. Go ahead and RSVP for the next Wednesday meetup in Waxhaw. Consider this an open invitation to step right out of the anxiety of the old system and start exploring what intentional living, regenerative community models, and the incredible potential of fractional ownership abroad actually look like in practice. So, what does this all mean for you? I want to leave you with this final, vital question to chew on. As the AI era accelerates and those traditional career paths continue to fade away, are you going to rely on the old system and just hope for the best, or will you take action to build the human advantage? The tools, the community, and the regenerative solutions are out there waiting to be explored. It's time to invest in what actually matters. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to check out that local meetup this week.